In today's video, we will be discussing Unit 4, Political Culture and Political Socialization. In this unit, we will try to define the terms political culture and political socialization. We will try to describe Almond and Weber's typology of political culture and explain variety of agents and institutions that contribute to political socialization. What is political culture? Political culture speaks of or talks about the values and beliefs that shape the political behavior and attitudes of individuals within a society. Where political socialization, on the other hand, is the process through which individuals acquire their political culture. So the objective for our lecture is to explore the typology of political culture proposed by Almond and Weber and understand the agents and institutions that very much involved in political socialization. Now let's look at Almond and Weber's typology. Almond and Weber have three typologies for describing what political culture is. The first typology is parochial political culture, the second is subject political culture, and the third is participant political culture. Now this typology, the three typology we will be looking into. Let's start with the first typology. What is parochial political culture? Parochial political culture is when citizens have limited awareness of the central government's existence. An example would be tribal societies where governance is localized. In subjective political culture, citizens recognize the impact of central government's decisions but feel powerless. Examples are authoritarian regimes where citizens lack political rights. Participant political culture is when citizens believe that they can influence the political agenda. An example would be democracy, where citizens actively participate in elections and civic activities. Now we will look through each of the typology with examples. Now, parochial political culture, as defined, citizens are slightly aware of the existence of the central government. Now, political or parochial culture refers to limited awareness or interest in broader political issues beyond one's immediate community. Now, if you look at the picture, an example of this could be seen in small, close-knit villages, like villages that we have in Papua New Guinea, in the remotest part of Papua New Guinea, in the coastal or in the islands region. These villages are close-knit and they are where most of the residents are primarily focused on local matters such as the village court decisions or local festivals or community events. They might be less aware of or interested in national politics, policies, and the workings of the central government. Now, an example of a subjective political culture, a practical example of subjective political culture in an authoritarian regime could be seen in North Korea. The citizens of North Korea are aware of decisions made by their central government, particularly those of the leader Kim Jong-un and the ruling party. However, due to the repressive nature of the regime and the severe consequence of dissent, citizens often feel powerless to challenge or influence the decisions in North Korea. There is pervasive culture of fear and surveillance where any form of dissent or anything that grievances against the Korean government or criticism is met with harsh punishment, including imprisonment or even execution. As a result, many citizens choose to conform to the government dictates out of fear for their safety and the safety of their families, leading to a sense of powerlessness and resignation among the population. Now, in a participant political culture, we know that citizens believe that they can affect political agenda. So participant culture refers to a situation where citizens believe they can influence the political agenda. A practical example of this is seen in the civil rights movement in the United States during the 1950s and the 1960s. During this time, African Americans and their allies actively participated in protests, marches, and other forms of nonviolent resistance to challenge racial segregation and discrimination. Through their collective actions and advocacy, they were able to influence the political agenda, leading to significant legislation changes such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The civil rights movement is a powerful example of participant culture where ordinary citizens believed in their ability to affect or effect change and took action to address injustices in society. Now, in the next discussion, we will be looking at agents of political socialization. Now, agents of political socialization, family is number one, school is number two, religious organization is number three, mass media, and peer groups. These five agents shape up the political socialization. Now, family. Parents pass on political values and beliefs to their children through their bringing. So parents teach their children the values, the family values, and groom them at the family level before they go to school. Now, when they go to school, another agent is the formal education. So the formal education introduces students to civic duties and political processes. So they get to be introduced to the ideas of democracy, civic duties, citizenship, etc., etc. The other agent is religious organization. Faith-based communities often influence political attitudes and behaviors. Whatever religion that you belong to tend to shape whatever views that you have on a political issue that is affecting the society. Now, religious organization plays a very important role. The next is the mass media. News outlet and social media platforms disseminate political information and shape public opinion. Whatever information that is shared through the mass media sort of changes and also confirm the perception and values and beliefs of an individual. The next is, or the final one, is peer groups. Now, social circles can shape political opinions through discussions and peer pressure. Now, every individual goes through or is come into contact with these various agents of political socialization, and then it informs and shapes their beliefs and opinions on a political issue. Now, the next is the time span of political socialization. Time span started. So for every individual, the time span of every individual is important in shaping political socialization. The time span started from, in our discussion here, started from early childhood. So in the earliest childhood, this is the initial exposure to political values and beliefs through family and community. After that, we have the late childhood. This is where the formal education reinforces political knowledge and introduces civic responsibilities. It is through the formal education system that you are introduced to this concept of the respect for the rule of law, that you should not violate the rule of law. This is an example of how formal education sort of shaped an individual into respecting civic duties or adhering to civic responsibilities. And then adolescence. Peer groups and media play a significant role in shaping political attitudes during this stage here. And finally, you have adulthood. Continued interaction with various agents of socialization influence political behavior through how someone's or an individual's life. Now, to conclude, we will look at two distinctive hypotheses called the primacy view and the recency view. The primacy view suggests that political loyalties formed in early childhood have a lasting impact on individuals. An example of this can be someone growing up in a family that strongly supports a particular political party. They might adopt the same political beliefs and loyalties as their family members, and this early experience can shape their political attitudes and behaviors throughout their lives. On the other hand, the recency view posits that current political events and information have greater influence on shaping political attitudes. For example, someone who has been following a political campaign closely and is swayed by the candidate's speech and policy may change political views based on the recent events and information. Regardless of their earlier political loyalties or upbringing, these two views represent different perspectives on the formation of political attitudes and loyalties, with primacy view emphasizing early experience and the recency view highlighting the impact of current events and information. So with that, this video tend to capture important aspect of political culture and tries to complement unit 4 of the study book. So I would encourage students to read through the study book on page 24 and use this lecture video as a guide in order to understand the content in which the study guide is talking about, and in addition to that, also consult the resource book. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.